Coming up today, markets is getting a big hit because of the Moody's cut in the credit rating. We got bonds rising with this news. We got a Nvidia event that might bring Nvidia up even more. We got gold getting big gains from this news, and a lot to talk about with this falling market. Where are we going to go? Are we going to keep on falling down? Are we going to go up a little bit? What is going to happen? You don't want to miss this video. There's a lot of information that you don't want to miss. Let's get started. With that being said, for a limited time only, I have my Trading 101 course, 50% off. Get it while it's still on sale, and it's limited with sales, so don't miss out. If you guys want to take your trading to the next level, you guys can invest into this PDF. You'll make your money back literally the same day trading. It tells you everything you need to know about charts and stuff like that. I'm not going to waste too much of your time. First link in the description. It's okay if you guys don't get it. I'm going to try to teach you guys as much as I can on YouTube too. Either way, thank you for watching the video, spending some time. Consider smashing that sub button and enjoy the video. So to start, it does look like the market is still selling off. So honestly, for the downside for the SPY, look at a key level 585, and below that look at 580 to the downside. We're going to get more into supports and resistance and some plays to make a little bit later, but let's get to some news to tell you guys what is going on with the market overall. So first off, we're just going to kind of summarize it. I came out with a video kind of explaining this a little bit more in depth if you really want to know everything that is going on, but we're going to summarize it to everything that you guys need to know. So basically, let's talk about the SPY first. So we had recent highs on Friday for the SPY. There's some flatness on Wednesday, but now we got a Moody's downgrade that brought the stocks down a lot. So basically, to summarize everything, so you guys don't have to go watch that video if you guys don't want to, but we got a degrade by 1 notch by Moody's. Last time this happened, we seen a 10% decrease in the market. So keep that in mind. But other factors did change that, and we got other factors coming out like trade deals. Trump did recently come out with some better trade deals, saying that he wants to make deals with other countries, but there's too many countries. So honestly, man, we might get better trade deals coming out this week that can bring the market up even more. The trade war does bring uncertainty into the market, and with better trade deals, it can bring better certainty. With that being said, we could potentially see a few days in the red and a lot of sellers come in, selling off their stocks, selling off their riskier assets, getting more into gold and staple stocks. So keep that in mind. Look at bonds and stuff like that to the upside right now if you want to make some money to the upside. But basically, it's basically the US credit score, and it got lower. It's going to basically make it more expensive to borrow money, especially with this high debt that we have. We're going up probably $2 trillion a year potentially. And basically, we're just spending too much money and getting too high into debt. The path that we're going to is bad, and nothing really is getting better. Keep in mind that we have been losing some momentum and some hype in the market, and this news can really change the direction of where we're going. Honestly, I think we've just been getting into the hype with good trade deals and potential good trade deals that are coming out. Because before, we were at 100 to 150% tariffs that were bringing cost up a bunch, but now we got that 90-day pause, and it made the markets look great within the past couple of days. And we are still currently getting recession talks and talks on potential lows, like even more lows that we got in the past couple of weeks. News like this can really bring the market down, especially if we get bad news with trade talks and just bad news overall. If bad news keeps stacking, we can keep stacking some sells. Also, keep in mind that the 10% tariffs is still higher than we had before. So seeing companies like Walmart having to higher their prices and let people off because of this can bring more uncertainty into the market. And once data comes out even more for other companies, like we have Home Depot and Target coming out this week, we're going to talk about the earnings calendar a little bit later, but that can also bring certainty down. But keep in mind, the tariffs that we have right now aren't as bad as we had before, like I said before, so keep that in mind too. So that can bring the market up even more. We have a less chance of meeting the lows from before. But we are still pretty close to all-time highs. SPY is still trading at 590, almost at 600 level, and almost to the highs that we had before. We're still a decent amount of points away, but keep that in mind, because if we keep on getting great news, we could probably see all-time highs. But with this Moody's degrade, it can still bring the market down and bring uncertainty into the market, selling pressure, stuff like that. But some stocks to watch. You can watch gold, because gold is gaining again. This is just a safe asset to have. Look at other metals too, like silver, stuff like that. If we look at the volatility, this volatility index went up a decent amount to 1987. Now we're trading at 1963, but you can see this to the upside because we're getting a lot of volatility in the market. Just like the SPY, we've seen the bond ETF TLT have big selling pressure going to the downside. So you can see this one to the downside too. We just had a new Nvidia event, and there's a lot that came out with that. I'm going to make a separate video a little bit later, so go check that out if you guys haven't already. If you guys want to know more about the Nvidia event and how the stock will move off of this. But they are getting more into humanoid robots and kind of just came out with more things that they have coming out for it. Also on the EV market, boosting some EV stocks. Qatar Airways posts 28% jump in net profit to a record 2.1 billion. This is great. See other airliners maybe jump up with this stock too. but keep Qatar Airways on your radar. Honestly, we don't have too much coming out, mainly just the PMI data and the existing home sales that are big events for this week. And then for the earnings calendar, we mainly just have Walmart and Target, so keep those two on your radar. There's not really too much events or data coming out to really move the market, except for those two that I said before. So honestly, the market is just going to move overall by itself. With that being said, also keep news on your radar because news can really move the market, especially with the trade deals and just how this credit degrade is really going to affect the economy overall. With that being said, for SPY, if we do start going to the upside, look at 588, 588.5, and that 590 level is going to be a key level. Past that, look at 595. If you could break above that, make some new highs. Look at 597.5, and that 600 level is going to be another key level. But to the downside, we're kind of looking maybe for the next couple of days, and or we might make a rebound. Buyers might come in, buy the lows. We're looking at 586, 585.5, 583.5, and that 580 level is going to be key. With that being said, we have kind of broke some levels recently. We have been kind of up and down before that, but honestly, we did break upwards, moving upwards. But then with this bad news, it did kind of bring this upward trend and breaking the Friday highs. And also look at Thursday because we might get down to the Thursday levels, 585.5, and then all the way down to 583.5. So keep those on your radar. Look at some other stocks like tech stocks like Apple. We are getting a big sell. So look at Apple, Nvidia, Palantir to the downside. Palantir does hold pretty strong, but we did just meet some highs, break some highs. And honestly, there's a lot of room to move downwards all the way down to that $80 level, especially if we start making some lows. Palantir was a stock that held up pretty high, even in the uncertainty. But honestly, right now, we're not really looking too good because we're at the highs. So be very, very careful. Palantir is moving up and down around the highs, losing almost 3%. Not really looking too strong. This was one of those tech stocks that people just came into. It has a lot of government contracts, a pretty safe asset to have. But honestly, right now at the all-time highs, I don't recommend scooping it up or anything like that. We're going to be making a separate video on CoreWeave because honestly, we did make a decent amount of momentum to the upside, especially with the deal that they have with NVIDIA and just AI hype overall. But honestly, with the riskier assets getting sold off, you can see CoreWeave maybe to the downside a little bit. And honestly, maybe even get to a good level to scoop up at. I might be looking at $70 level to that $60 level to scoop it up, honestly, for my long term. But honestly, I'll be making an update video on my long term very, very soon. So we might have it scooped up then, and or we might still be waiting. Tesla was another key stock that was kind of holding up pretty strong at that 350 level. A lot of call options. I mean, the put to call rate right now is pretty high to calls. Honestly, a lot of people are losing money right now, especially with this sell-off. So please understand that there's going to be losses in the market. But to the downside for Tesla, because we did lose a decent amount of money, look at that 330, 325, and that 320 level. Back up to the upside, look at 340, 345, and then all the way up to that 350 level. If you can break above that, look at the highs of 351.5, 355, and 360 for Tesla. So for Bitcoin, we're currently trading at $103,000. If you see a big sell-off with Bitcoin, some stocks to trade, MSTR, Coinbase, stuff like that, you can see it to the upside, downside, and normally moves exactly with Bitcoin. Another one to trade if you guys don't want to risk too much money is IBIT because the options are pretty cheap. I do recommend looking into this, especially if you get a sell-off with crypto overall, but also don't hold one side for a while, especially selling. I would not hold selling for Bitcoin because Bitcoin still has momentum upwards. It's been holding that $100,000 level. And honestly, if we break below that, you might be able to play to the downside a little bit and then play back to the upside. Just to summarize overall, what plays you guys should be getting, how to make money on this market, especially with the uncertainty. Just kind of watch how it opens up, market open. I recommend waiting at least 5 to 15 to 20 to 30, even a couple hours if you really wanted to really trade and get a grasp on how the market is really moving and reacting to this news. With that being said, if we do start seeing tech stock sell off, you know, the riskier assets, stuff like that, you can see Nvidia to the downside. And or if we do start, maybe people are buying from the bottom. You know, we see that a lot with retail traders. They'll buy the bottom and buy the dips. And right now, we haven't really gotten a dip since this rally. So this can be the first dip that people have, a first opportunity for people to kind of load up on this bullish rally. But who knows if the bullish rally is still coming, if we got that momentum upwards and stuff like that. But with that being said, just see how it opens. Don't play one side. Be willing to adjust and adapt to the current trade trends and stuff that is going on. We do have bad news, but we also have good news. So we're kind of like 50-50 right now. We do got bad news that can bring down the market. We already seen it bring it down. So we really have to see if people are still going to be reacting to the credit degrade and or if we get more news with that. And also trade deals. We can get some great trade deals, bring the market up. So for NVIDIA, I recommend trading stocks like NVIDIA, Palantir, Tesla, Google, and all those like that up to the upside. If we do get upward momentum, the bulls come back, start buying. Honestly, play some call options. If you see it start selling off, just get yourself some put options and boom, easy. I don't recommend holding swing trades unless we get some great news that can hold over time basically, and not too much bad news. But honestly, you can make some day trades and or 1 or 2 day trades, or trades that last around 1 or 2 days, which is around a swing trade. But with that being said, same thing with SPY. SPY is going to overall move with the overall tech sector. So honestly, if we do get a big buy and or a buy a dip situation with retail traders, you can get yourself a low call option. Same thing with SPY, and the same thing with put options. If you do trade SPY, I do recommend doing a few days ahead. Don't do the next day, 0 DT, that's just deadly. But honestly, do a couple days ahead. I normally do 3 to 4 days myself, just so I have a safer trade basically. I can hold it overnight if the trade doesn't go as planned basically. But yeah, look at that. But for other stocks like crypto, because we did lose a bunch of money, I think we lost over 600 to 800 million dollars worth of Bitcoin within the last 24 hours. So a lot of people are selling off. You could play plays like MSTR, Coinbase, and IBIT, like I said before, to the downside if we do still see the sell off. And especially if we break below that $100,000 level on Bitcoin, you can make a decent amount of money to the downside. And then also, once it dips and then you see it buying again, maybe some upward momentum, you can play call options on these plays and stocks. With that being said, man, just be very, very careful trading. Take your time. Don't play one side fully. Thanks for watching the video. Let me know any other stocks you guys want me to cover. Good luck trading today. Peace out.